Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. How are you all doing? Good to see you. Yeah, so we're going to be doing some stuff today. Believe it or not, we'll be doing some stuff. I think there's two main things that are in progress right now. It's the art update and also the save system. But I'll go into all that stuff in just a second here. The first thing that I want to mention is that Alchemy is available for wishlisting. So if you're interested in a dark fantasy roguelite auto battler where you can use alchemy to create your own builds, then Alchemy is for you and you can wishlist it. I would appreciate that a lot. And you could also support the game on Patreon. You get a couple of nice perks for doing so. If you subscribe to this $15 a month tier, you will get an Alchemy Steam key sent to you when the game launches. So you will not need to purchase it on Steam, and you will get your name in the Alchemy credits as well. But there's a couple of other nice perks like unlimited access to my course content, all that good stuff. So definitely consider doing that if you're interested. Would very much appreciate that. And you can also support me by purchasing one of my Udemy courses. The nice thing about these Udemy courses is not only will you be supporting me, but you're going to learn how to build games in the Godot engine. There's 4 different courses. Each one covers a slightly different topic. So yeah, check those out. Those are linked below. And you can also join the Discord and, follow the Twitch channel, all that good stuff. Subscribe to YouTube, so on and so forth, etc., etc. But thank you all for your support. And hello, Clickertail. Welcome back. Always good to see you. I'm doing well. How are you? I am doing well. So the save system, I think, is basically, there's a couple of things that I want to do, but the save system is basically done. And so what that ends up looking like is I actually did take a different approach yesterday. Oh, here comes the cat. Okay. There's the cat. I did end up taking a different approach. So I reworked a lot of what I was storing for my state in this save. So we're looking at the save file right now. I did end up relying mostly on just regenerating the map and storing the state that has changed. So this is what the save file looks like. We've got a current run. This current run saves all the data about the run itself. And a couple of things that we're saving. We have to save the patrol flag positions because those move around during the map. We also have to save the visited nodes, the current node that the player is on, as well as all of the revealed nodes, the nodes that have been revealed in the Fog of War. And then what else are we saving? So we also have to save the player inventory, right? So the cards that they have, and also what is in the combat board as well. So we can see that for my inventory board, I've got a flagrum. It's got, it's position X, position Y, all that good stuff is alchemized, is legendary, all that good stuff. But then we have the abilities list, which has a couple of things. There's the provenance, which is basically where does the ability come from ultimately. And then the persistent state, which is just, this is any JSON serializable data that I want to associate with a specific ability. And that will be serialized and deserialized to and from the ability on save and load. So I can basically put any data I want in this persistent state, and I have a very good framework for doing that now. And then I'm also storing the enchants as well. So we can see that the enchants, let's see, persistent state. Anyway, I'm just trying to figure out if that's right. Yeah, that persistent state is null. Anyway, so that's what we got going on. What other data are we storing here? So we are storing the locked cells on the board. So this is just a list of all the cells that are locked. And then we are storing the artifacts as well. Artifacts can also have persistent state. And then of course we're storing the health, the blood, the residue, and as well as the enemy strength, which is that Inquisition bar at the top. And of course the character ID, so we know which character to restore. So yeah, I mean, that's what the save model looks like. There are a couple of things still to work out here. For example, I need to figure out, like, what does the actual save life cycle look like? Like, when does the game save? Does the game save when the player quits to menu? What happens if, let's say that I save whenever the player quits the game, right? So maybe I'll save after the player does something that's savable. So for instance, maybe I'll save after the player's done with Alchemy, or maybe I'll save after the player finishes an event or moves on the map or whatever else. But then there's a question of, like, you know, what happens if I visit an event and then I restructure my inventory? I like rebuild my board and get it all nice and good, and then I quit to menu. Do I want to do a save then? Probably. But then there's edge cases too, like what happens if I quit to menu while I'm in the process of doing something else that's not explicitly savable? So for instance, I ended up with this situation here, which, you know, there's going to be a number of edge cases that I have to account for with the save system. So we can see that I'm loading into the game. I'm on top of this unvisited node here. And so the way that happens is, so if I go ahead and save the run here, I currently don't have the run being saved automatically. I have to manually initiate a save. But so I'm saved here. We can see that the patrol flag is in its typical position. So if we take a note of this, it's in between these two combats and that health. So if I load it back up, that patrol flag is going to still be there. All of my revealed nodes are still here, and everything is basically exactly the same. But if I go to my alchemical reagents here, if I click this node and then I do save run here, and I go back, what's going to happen is I'm going to end up on top of that node, but I never have visited that node, right? And then there's questions about, like, you know, if I go into an event here and I grab this and I don't finish the event and I save. So I save the run and then I go back in. That's probably going to be the same exact error. I'm going to be on top of an unfinished event. Yeah. But you can see that I've saved the dragon scales from that encounter, right? So I can go in here and I could just keep getting dragon skills and save again. Save, run, quit, go. So I'm going to need to figure out, you know, maybe I don't have any player initiated save moments. Maybe that's the way to handle it. Maybe I just tightly control when the saves happen, and I just try to catch all of the situations where the player would want their data to be saved, right? Because what I don't want to end up in a situation is where I can come in here and I reorganize my board and I unlock a bunch of cells, and then I go, oops, it's time for dinner. So I'm going to go quit to menu, right? I need that configuration to be saved even though I didn't move around the map at all. Because if I just quit and I come back, all that work that I just did is going to not be persisted. So I think that's something that I need to think about. You know, one thing I could do is I could just, well, then there's the problem too of, like, if I just save whenever the player's board changes, I'm going to end up with the same exact problem where I'm going to be able to, like, pilfer some stuff from here. And then if I save, oops, time for dinner, and I come back, I'm going to have those cards, but that event is not going to be marked as complete. So there's a couple of considerations that need to be made here, but we'll see. I'm glad you're doing well, Clickertail. Hello, ever-varying life. Welcome back. Will you stick with JSON for the final game? I heard somewhere once that it's more efficient to make a custom parser for save files to lessen memory use. Yes, that is true. JSON is not the most efficient thing that you can use. However, let's take a look at how big my save file is. It is 8 kilobytes. So, yeah, I don't think, I mean, obviously it's going to grow as more stuff is added, but it's probably not going to exceed 20, 30 kilobytes. So we're talking about a very, 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 very small amount of data, and it's going to be processed, it's going to be parsed and written to very quickly. So the thing about JSON is that it's easy to reason about, it's easy to work with, it's human readable, and so all of those benefits outweigh whatever downsides might come with, you know, maybe it's not the fastest thing in the world, but with the small file sizes that I'm working with, it's like not even worth thinking about. Now, yes, if you have a very like if you tried to save a Minecraft world as JSON, that would not work. That would not work. Hello, Pirate Software. That's like the second time somebody has likened me to Pirate Software. What does that mean? Do I need to read into that? Should I be taking offense? Hello, The Tasteful Thickness. Welcome back. So this is what Pirate Software would be like if he actually did dev work. Ooh. I just want to say that I'm not responsible for the comments of my chat. When I read the chat messages, those are not my own words. So I want to be diplomatic here, not throw shade at anyone, but you guys can keep throwing shade all you want. It's fine. This assumes Pirate Software is a dev at all. Will, is that good to use debugging that way? I don't know what you're asking, Kelso. I might be expecting a bit much of them. Can you map each cell of the player board and check which card is overlapping it and just save that data and load? Or is there a simple way? I don't know why I would need to... What problem would this be solving, the malicious rabbit? I don't know what that suggestion is in response to. When you move from one node to another, you shouldn't save when the player clicks a node, but you should save when the player is done with the node instead. Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to do. The problem is, like, there are things that the player can do that are meaningful that can happen, you know, like that example I gave where I sit there and I make my board perfect, but then I need to leave the game for whatever reason. You know, that is going to be a situation that I'm going to want to handle. Now, I could just make it so that way, if, like, your board state changes will save. Oh, no. These are clickable for some reason. I need to fix that. I need to fix those being clickable. So what I could do is I could say, look, if you're actively in an event, it's not going to save anything, right? So if I'm inside of this reagent, no saves can happen during this screen. So even if I quit, whatever changes I made to my board and my inventory, those are not going to be persisted. But what I could do is, like, as long as you're just sitting on a node, right? As long as you're just sitting here and you're modifying your inventory and doing alchemy and stuff, the changes will be saved just like automatically while you're in that. I wonder why these are clickable. We're going to have to investigate that. Let me write that down. Some revealed nodes are clickable. So we're going to need to fix that. You just code, homie. This is awesome. Thank you. Hello, Why Trash Earth. Welcome, welcome. Some people are JSON people and some people are CSV people, yeah. You're saying that if players put things on the board but then quit, the changes don't save. Right, yeah. Could you implement the observer pattern for player interaction-based saves, like changing the board? Like changing a flag, then on events like closing the game. Yeah, I mean, that is the plan. The problem is that, you know, I still need to manage, like, if, like, let's say I fire an event for the player board has changed, right? There's still a consideration that needs to be made about, like, am I currently in a context where it's safe to save the save file? Or do I need to ignore that specific event? Or I could even, like, I don't know if I would need to do this, but I could queue some saves, right? And I could say, okay, well, a save has been queued, and then wait until the next valid save moment and then save. But if I'm just automatically saving after, like, every node traversal anyway, then that's not really necessary. Game looks so freaking cool, thank you. Wait, I can't donate? Hold on a second. I think my AdSense stuff is finally set up correctly, but maybe not. Oh no, it's not. So what I did recently is I set up an LLC for myself, and I've been changing all of my sources of income to pay my LLC bank account. And YouTube, unfortunately, requires you to set up a brand new AdSense account for a new entity like that. And what they don't tell you is that it takes like 3 weeks to approve that process or finish that process, and you can't earn anything on YouTube for that duration. So that's kind of a bummer, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm thinking that I should add debug window in my game. Yeah, debug window is good. But I appreciate it. N3, what is it? Negate. Oh, it's negate. Gotcha. If you do want to donate negate, there's the Patreon. What you could do is you can just, there's a $5 tier, there's a $15 tier. If you want to support with either of those tiers, you could just like subscribe on Patreon and then just like cancel immediately. So you just do effectively one donation. That's an option available to you. But I appreciate it. Or you can wait until my YouTube monetization is back. But thank you, thank you. I appreciate the gesture, nevertheless. Okay, so let's figure out why some of these nodes are still clickable. That's a little bit concerning to me. Now I have to figure out where this is actually being done. Highlight visitable nodes. Reveal distance, get fog reveal distance. Set up validity. Oh. I need to do map node, set up validity, current run map node. Wait a minute. Reveal node. Set up validity, current run map node connections. Add clickable validator, clear clickable validators. All nodes to reveal. Oh, so do I need to do this? Where is this called? I wonder if I should move this. Is this gonna work? So I basically need to make these as not clickable. Current run map node. There has to be a better way to do this. Set up validity, current run map node, connections contains node. Let me think about this for a second. So this is the code that is setting up the validity here. All nodes to reveal proximity nodes and obelisk radius. Setup validity. LLC in this economy? Yeah. There's a donation page. I'll do that to support the dev work. Also because you're chill and I think you handled the pirate software shade well. The level-headed mindset will get you far. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I try not to throw shade at any game developer YouTubers, no matter how dubious they may be or seem, because, you know, I don't really pay attention to that stuff. Setup validity. I don't know where I need to do this. Is visitable. So the problem here is that I'm setting up this. So this is restoring the save data. So when I do set seeded run, this seeded run is being restored from the save file. And then I am storing the revealed state of all the nodes in the save file. And so if the node is revealed already, I need to reveal the node here. The problem is that that's not also updating the clickability of the node. I wonder if I just need to, let me think. Do I just need to set everything as not clickable? So here, let's see. I'm getting a little bit lost in here. That's okay. It's okay to be lost. So this validity is a little bit confusing. Set visitable. Is it? Oh no. I don't know if it's IBLE or ABLE. Let's see. Okay, I spelled it right. Set visitable. What happens if I just do this? So when I reveal all the nodes to begin with, we're just going to do set visitable false by default. And then when this other process kicks in here, this highlight visitable nodes, this one should basically just undo that, I think. So let's see. Okay, yeah, these are not visitable anymore, and these ones are visitable. Okay. So let's just see if we can streamline that a little bit. Private void set node as visitable. Run map node. Node bool is visitable. Okay. So I could streamline this a little bit. We're just going to do set node as visitable, node false. Oh, wait. This needs to be current run map node dot connections dot contains node. I don't understand how this is working. Okay, that's a little bit confusing. Let me see something. Is that not doing what I think it's doing? So the patrol flag, I need to be able to hover over these. That's the thing. What happens if I get rid of this? I actually don't know what that's doing. Oh, I see. So making it clickable is different than making it visitable. Right. Okay. So that makes sense. So we could do set node as visitable, run map node. So there's a difference between making the node so maybe I should rename this. So this set node is visible is basically setting up the validity of being able to visit it. And something else is actually making it clickable. So because like the nodes that are outside of the fog of war are not clickable for obvious reasons, because like there should be a node here based on the edges connecting. I shouldn't be able to hover over nodes that are behind the fog of war, so those are disabled. But anything that's revealed, even if it's just temporarily revealed by the patrol flag here, needs to be hoverable at the very least. But in the case of the patrol flag, since I'm not, I'm not on a node that connects to one of these nodes, then I shouldn't be able to actually click on it. Like I should just get an error when I click. So I suppose it makes sense. So there are revealed nodes and then there are visitable nodes. So I think I need to change this. Set node visitable validity. I don't know if this makes sense, but maybe that'll be a little bit clearer. Okay, anyway. So we fix nodes being clickable after load. So the other thing that I want to do is I'm going to save the seed that is responsible for building out the map decorations, because that should be relatively simple to do, and I think it would just be a nice little attention to detail if the map decorations were exactly the same between your saves as well. But, obviously I don't want to save the positions of all these decorations, so I'll just save the seed that was used to place all the decorations, and then that should make the visual presentation of the map the same through each run. This is not like a super important thing to do, but I just think maybe it would help, like just, be a little bit more detail oriented. So map decoration placer. So we have the base seeded run here. So what I could do is, since I'm passing in the seeded run, I could just put that RNG object public random number generator decoration. Let's do map decoration RNG. This is going to break my save file, but that's okay. Actually, we'll use a... Do I want to make it the same? Yeah, we might as well. This will break my save file because I'm going to do another RNG operation here, but that's okay. Generate map. I'm actually curious to see what happens if I do that. I'm going to get a totally new map out of this, I think. Oh, I didn't. Interesting. Well, we'll just do that. And then I guess the combat's probably changed and everything, but that's all right. I think, yeah, okay. So these... Well, whatever, that's fine. As long as that just doesn't change the order, I suppose that's okay. All right, then we have two save model with a seeded run save model. Let's do JSON property map decoration RNG. Okay. So we're saving that, and then in my map decoration placer, private random number generator RNG. We're going to do new random number generator seed equals seed and run map generation RNG dot seed. Oops. So anywhere where I'm using math_util.rng, this needs to be regular old RNG. Oops. Okay. I think we're good. So do I need to restore that from save model? Actually, you know what I'll do is I'll do new. I'll just create the new. Maybe I should just store the seed. I don't know. Maybe that makes more sense. Map decoration seed. Let's just do uint. Or that should be a ulong. Unsigned long. And then that will create the map decoration RNG on load. And then we should be good here. So I shouldn't need to create that. I'll just say RNG is equal to seeded run dot map decoration RNG. All right, let's just, for the sake of not messing with anything, we'll just get rid of this save file. Then we'll go back in. Hello, Bomb That Implodes. Welcome back. Shoot, I need coffee, BRB. Get that coffee. Hello, Artritrui. Welcome. Good to see you. Wish I could still tolerate coffee, but unfortunately now it gives me brain fog and a headache. Oh. That is unfortunate. There are 3 animals right now running around. Do you want to see the dog? Come here. Come on. Come. That's the dog. Hello, dog. Do you like to stream? Oh, he's getting blotted out. It doesn't recognize your face, buddy. Okay. All right. I'm gonna make myself a coffee. I actually get headaches when I don't drink coffee. Yep. Yeah. That does happen. How does C# compare to C++? I don't know. I don't know anything about C++, so I'm the kind of person that I like a lot of syntactic sugar. I don't like having to manage memory myself. Actually, my favorite language probably, and this is going to sound like heresy to some of you, but my favorite language is JavaScript and all that whole ecosystem, TypeScript and all that stuff. Mostly because it's just super easy to write JavaScript. Like, you've got all kinds of syntactic sugar and like cool stuff you can do, especially when you're using TypeScript. But yeah, I don't like having to manage memory myself. I don't like when the languages are super technical and require like a lot of deeper technical knowledge. I just want to write the code and like not have to worry about all the mundane stuff, you know? Anyway, so what were we doing? Oh, we're gonna check the map decorations. So there's a cathedral thing there, and then there's a windmill there. So let's save the run, and then let's see if that will generate back. So let's see. Seeded run, map decoration seed, there we go. Let's run it again. No, not heresy. Script is handy. C is for min-maxing. Yeah. Look at that. The decorations are exactly the same now on the map. Now, actually, do I even need to store that seed? Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I just did a bunch of effort for nothing. I actually don't know if I need to store that seed. Oh, I don't need to because that seed is just being generated. Yeah, I don't think I need to save that. I think I just did a bunch of work for nothing. So basically the way that the save system works is that I store the seed here of the overall seeded run. So the state and the seed here. I actually don't use the state because that represents like where in the random algorithm we're at, basically. How does this work? So I do from save model. This calls generate with the seed, and that should just replay, like it should just get all the same values from that. So I actually don't need to save. I don't need to save the map decoration RNG. That was actually useless. Because I'm reassigning it here on generate, which is called when I create a new seeded run object. So yeah, I actually don't need that. So, oops. Did a bunch of work for nothing. That's all right. That's all right. So yeah, with those things removed from the model, and I can actually just go ahead and remove it from the save file as well, I should see the exact same map being generated. Yeah, it's the same map, and I could just save it again just to be sure. Yeah, that'll work. Cool. So now we're getting the same exact map basically every time. Same edges, same roads, same nodes, same node configurations, same decorations even. And all we're basically doing is we're just storing the things that have changed, and we're like replaying those changes. So basically, every time you load a save, the map is regenerated from the ground up using the seed associated with the save. And then it just goes through all the changes, and it like marks nodes as visited. It updates the configurations in accordance with whatever has happened. So for instance, if I do set enemy strength to 100 here, fill up that bar. So we've got a morning star and a sweet roll there. So if I go, oh, I can't visit these nodes. Oh, that's unfortunate. I guess I'm going to have to fix that. We're going to play whack-a-mole with this, I guess. Why is this not working again? We're gonna have to figure this out. Map container. So we're setting the node visitable validity to false here. Let me just make sure that this is working in order. I think it is, but I started learning GDScript, and for someone who has little, if not no, knowledge in coding, it's super straightforward. Yeah, GDScript is nice. I like it. Initial node reveal. Highlight visitable nodes. Okay. So why is that not working? Reveal node. We're setting the visitable validity to false, but then when I do highlight visitable nodes, that should be taking effect now. What is my current run map node? Maybe that's not correct. I remember back in the days when I was coding simple games in my Casio TI-82. Now my brain sweats when I read your scripts, but it's fun nonetheless. Yeah. Programming is fun. I like it. It's a little bit challenging, but that's part of why it's fun. So this is the start node, contains... Let's do this. False. I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch the one that's going to evaluate to true. Oh, there we go. True. Set node visitable validity. Oh. Oops. Because I did the logic wrong. That would explain it. Okay, now these are correct. All right, so anyway. And let me just make sure that the patrol flags are also not clickable. Okay, good. So we have the enemy strength set to 100 here. If I go to the booster and I choose one of these cards, or several of these cards, that's going to upgrade those combat encounters. So now this one is pitchfork, quiver, field mouse, mutton. So if I save this now and I go back, that should be exactly the same configuration here. Pitchfork, quiver, field mouse, button. And it's got the same rewards, all that good stuff. So yeah, basically, so I'm rebuilding the map from the seed, and then I'm replaying all the changes that would affect the nodes. Now, the one thing that I haven't really tested yet is how the obelisks work. I want to make sure that those are still working as expected. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to get an obelisk here. So let's just do this. Let's do project. Stop that. Project, we're going to turn ignore save file on for now. So when the ignore save file is on, it just doesn't load from the save file. So we're going to try to get an obelisk. There we go. So let's do a save run here. So we get that new map configuration. No, dang it. I attempted to learn C when I was in primary elementary school over a decade ago, and I just didn't know how to progress. Too busy dealing with school to actually take the time to figure it out. Yeah. Coding on a Casio is well beyond my current league, probably. You and me both. You and me both. Hello, Fridex. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. So we're going to transform 3. Let's do into enchant nodes here. So that one changed and that one changed. Let's go ahead and save run. And then let's go back. Oh, I'm also not saving the map enchants, right? Save enchant. Save map node. Obelisk. Effects. Trigger node. Effects. So I'm going to need to figure that one out as well. Dang, there's a lot to save here. That's all right. That's done. Okay. But let me look at the Alchemortis JSON here. We'll look at the save file. Alchemortis JSON. Okay. I actually don't... Is it saving the node types? It should. Oh, maybe it's not going to save that. I don't know if I have that in place yet. It did not save the node changes. So I'm going to need to do that as well. Okay. I'll just make a note of that. Goodness gracious, there's a lot to save. But we're getting there. We're getting there. I messed with Java when I was younger to make Minecraft mods and plugins. That's most of my experience. Minecraft modding is actually pretty fun. I was working on a vanilla plus Minecraft mod for a while. There was a part of me that just wanted to like make that my game, you know, like just overhaul Minecraft a bunch. I was doing some pretty cool stuff. Like I added lava fishing, so you can fish in the nether and get stuff out of the lava. I was also working on a flying machine that was powered by coal, which was pretty cool. But I ultimately stopped doing that for whatever reason. I added some interesting enchants too. Like I'm trying to think, what was the one I did? I don't remember. I'll have to find that. but it was cool. Minecraft modding is a lot of fun. It's actually, you know, there's actually quite a few resources and frameworks and stuff that make it super easy to mod it. That's definitely beyond mine too, yeah. Anyway, let's see. So I kind of don't want to work on the map saving anymore. This is just being, there's just a lot to do to recreate the map state faithfully. So, but we'll call that good. The thing that I'm most worried about is, like, as I add new features to the game, I got to make sure to also, like, make sure that the save file is compatible. Anyway, I've been dying to get this new Alchemy pot into the game. So here's the new Alchemy pot art. I think it looks pretty cool. Some people think it looks like beans, but that's okay. We can we can change it later. So what the current Alchemy pot looks like, so this is like the final part of the effort to make all the clickable elements brighter. So previously all the clickable elements were like dark purple, like the rest of the map here. But I brightened everything up. All the clickable elements now use some brighter colors. The pot is the only thing that does not use that yet. So we redrew the pot art. I redrew the pot art, which looks like this now. And we're going to get this into the game and see how that looks. So hopefully it'll be good. Well, if not, we'll see. Vanilla Plus design scheme is my favorite type of modding. I didn't enjoy mods that changed the game style too much. Yeah, so like those, like there's these mod packs in Minecraft that have like 1,000 mods or whatever, but then it's like it adds like Factorio stuff and like new realms or whatever. It's like, I mean, I guess I understand that, but I think what I wanted to do with like the Vanilla Plus mod that I was working on is I just wanted to make it more Minecraft, you know, like I wanted to just add more crafting recipes, more like mechanics that build off the existing mechanics, like fishing in lava, you know, new, like I wanted to build a whole library of new enchantments for armor and whatnot, and just make it like, just put more in there, you know. And of course that was before like modern Minecraft where they keep adding mobs that do nothing. So if I had continued with that effort, it would be like, let's make, you know, foxes and polar bears actually useful, and like these decoration blocks, let's make them not just decoration, let's actually make them do something, right? But like I said, I didn't stick with that effort, so it's neither here nor there. I'd be curious. I need to see if I can bring up that code again though, because I was doing some pretty cool stuff with the enchantments and whatnot. Couldn't even program Java without significant refreshing of the language, since I did it over a decade ago as a kid and a teen. Those factorial like mods were actually what gave birth to Factorial in the first place. Yeah, I mean, I'm not throwing shade at the mods at all. It's just that's not how I would like to see Minecraft be, you know? I like Factorio. I like the kind of factory games, but Minecraft to me seemed less about like automation and more about like exploration and crafting things yourself. But I guess what I wanted Minecraft to be is like more like Terraria, you know what I mean? Where there's all these content, all these world bosses, everything in the game, every material in the game is useful in some way. But anyway, Terraria is the better Minecraft, unfortunately. It's just, I hate to speak truth on the stream here, but that's just how it is. Anyway, I'm gonna take a quick 3-minute break, and then when I come back, I will we'll add this art to the game, and we will see how that goes. But give me just 3 minutes. I'll be right back, and we'll continue on. All right, I'm back. I just mean Minecraft end up being everyone's sandbox, even for devs. Yeah, that's true. Hello, Ninja Link. Good to see you. Welcome back. Always good to see you. Minecraft single-handedly created a large portion of coders. That's probably true. That is probably true. I'm just updating some of these things here. This bottom part looks a little bit weird to me, but I don't know why that is. Oh, here comes the cat now. Well, I don't need to worry about this necessarily right now, but anyway, I think that looks better. It's probably okay. I'm just fretting over minor details now. But I think this should be as easy as just exporting these things, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see. Have you made a 3D game before? I have not really. I mean, I did a 3D prototype for like a little bit, but it was not anything particularly interesting. Mostly I was just curious like how Godot 3D worked. But yeah, no serious effort making a 3D game. Oh, there's some issues here. Let me do something real quick. Oh yeah, I did make it thicker. Okay. I just got to get this outline correct here. Huh? I don't think that's right either. Why does this look weird? Okay, here's what I'll do. Okay. Put this there. All right, let's do this. Just trying to get this outline working correctly, that's all. What the heck? Okay, I guess it's all right. Anyway, I may have to adjust some things, that's all right. Okay, let's re-export all these. Export layers, boom. Personally don't see beans, but a weathered pot, that's great. The before last one looked too symmetrical. Yeah, I'm glad you like it, but probably more shadow at the top, under the lip, and the handle. You don't think that's enough shadow? I could do more. I could do more, but let's see. I mean, that's probably okay. Let's see what it looks like in game. I might have to redo the liquid too, because the liquid looks a little bit too flat now. Oh, look at that. Oh, my head is in the way. I think that looks good in game. Look at that. Boom, boom. All right, let's see what happens if I alchemize these things. Yeah, I wonder, I gotta figure out if I can make that liquid a little bit more interesting now, I guess. I think that looks good though. Yeah. I think it looks great. No complaints about that, no regrets. Yeah, the liquid, I gotta think about if I can do something with the liquid to make it look a little bit more interesting. I wonder if I could do like a 2D liquid shader somehow. We'll see. Hello, Emerson, welcome back. Good to see you. Yeah, can't really complain about that. I'm just trying to think, I'm trying to rack my brain about what the liquid could do. I almost wonder, so these are textures here. I almost wonder if I should just do a purely noise-based approach to doing the liquid. Because with that approach, what I could do also is I could based on the noise value, I could add like highlights or something to the liquid. So in the same way that, you know, if I've got, let's see, if I've got something enchanted, let me go to the enchant real quick. Oh, those don't fade out. Okay, I gotta fix that. To do health options don't properly fade out after clicking. We'll fix that. The enchant here. So if I put an enchant on this, so do you see how the enchant effect here on the border, it's like the darker blue color, but then there are highlights of the light green. I don't know if you can see that very well, but I could do something similar with the liquid where based on the noise value, it's like applying a highlight. I think that would make the liquid look a little bit more dynamic. And the fact that is, you know, I don't have to use a texture for that either. So that should also add more variability to the liquid waves in here. So I'll probably take a purely noise-based approach to this, and I should be able to add some more colors into that, make it look really nice. And then the particles, I'll probably redo the particles as well, the bubbling particles. So we'll see. I think liquid is great. Maybe add one layer of darker bubbles. Yeah, I want to keep it like generally the way that it is. I like how smooth and flowy it looks for sure. I just want to, yeah, see if I can do something a little bit better. The other thing I'm thinking about doing is I could add like a little floor texture here to ground the pot a little bit more. Maybe we'll try that. But let me write this down before I forget. Use pure noise for Alchemy pot liquid. Okay. Oh my gosh, I have so much work to do. Goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to get through my to-do list and I just keep adding stuff to it. It's all right. Welcome back with coffee. Very nice. Hello back with coffee. Are we redoing some art? Yeah, I mean, I already redid the pot art, so I just got that in the game here. But I do want to experiment with like adding a floor to this thing. I think that would be really cool. So let me think about this a little bit. I think the floor is going to be largely just maybe this is too big of a brush. Just something. Just a little something something, you know what I mean? Actually don't know if I like the way this is going currently, but we'll see. So we've got that floor there. That looks a little bit weird. Maybe I'll just do a small one here. Let's see. No, I don't really like that approach. Let's see. I'm gonna do something a little bit different here. Let's take this. Let's do a new layer. Oops. Here. Let's see. Am I not allowed to grab this? Okay. Something like this. Now the question is that going to fit in my drawer? Let me see how much space I have along the side here. Grass floor could look nice, or cobblestone, or a fireplace. If you add a floor, you should add a few little legs to the cauldron. I could do that. Squish them horizontally to match the viewing angle. Make a whole house with a witch making some poisons in the pot, a dragonfly flying by breathing fire, something simple, yeah. Then remove all that, yeah, the SpongeBob strategy. Okay, I should have enough space here. I should have enough space. Let's see now. All right, so let's squish them, the floor tiles. Okay, we're getting there. Dang it, I keep freaking filling the thing instead of... Stop filling! Goodness gracious. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so we got something like this. I think it needs to be more. Yeah, maybe something like that. It's not perfect. But I think we can call this good enough. So I think the pot is going to need a larger shadow part to it as well. Or I could just bake the shadow into the ground. That might be okay as well. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's okay. Maybe not. Oops. Yeah, I think that's probably okay. Yeah, we could do something like that. And now I probably want to add some highlighting here. We'll see how it goes. We're doing art stream now. Yeah, this will work. What if you had some liquid leaking out on the ground? Could do that. Casually drawing abs on the floor. Floor's been getting those crunches in. Mouse sitting on top of the ladle, falling off when you click on the pot. Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, I could definitely add some like other environmental things to this. Simple animation, still added, yes indeed. Hello Nano, welcome back. Coffee, game dev, and pixel art. What's your art style? Making random shapes everywhere. Basically. Yeah, I mean, pixel art is, it's pretty simple. You just keep placing the pixels until you get what you want. I mean, it's not that hard. That's a joke, by the way. I do find that is helpful sometimes, though. Like, if you don't really know how to draw the thing, you just keep placing pixels over and over and over again, trying to get what you want. And sometimes you'll stumble into what you're trying to do. Sometimes you will stumble into what you're trying to do. Okay, we're almost done here. Now the question is, do I want to add... I think I do. Add little highlight pixels here. I don't think it's the best looking floor in the world. But it doesn't need to be the best looking, it just needs to look, you know? I'm also not going to put highlights on every single one. I might want to do some like interior highlights on some of these as well. But we can tweak that later. Okay, now the pot base. We're going to need to make this have a thicker shadow. I'm going to just do this with this color so I can see the new lines that I'm adding. I'm just adding some smaller ones around. I want to make it look more like it's kind of like fading out at the edges, if that makes sense. Oh, also it looks like I forgot to highlight this one. So if I just do like little... Just do little rocks or segments of rocks here. That will hopefully make it look a little bit nicer. I wonder if I should do some interior highlighting here. Maybe not. Well, we'll just see how that looks. I think it looks decent. I mean, small bird that flies away. Honestly, love this color palette. It's dark but warm at the same time. Yeah, I do too. Outer highlights is a good idea. Stones seem to stand up with only the top edge highlighted. Yeah, let's try some outer edge highlights as well. That might be too much. Yeah, I think that looks good. Okay. How's that looking? I do think that looks better, actually. So I probably should do the same for these ones that are kind of obscured by the pot, and the reason is because the pot, I think, animates, it like bounces upward, and so it's going to reveal some of the stuff behind as well. But let's just take a pause there. Let's just take a pause there and like put the floor into the game and see what it looks like. I don't know if do I need to fill in all these gaps? I probably should, I guess. Probably should. Remove highlights from the stones right next to the pot shadow. Well, the problem is that the pot can animate upwards, but I guess that's okay. I mean, I can make the pieces around the pot dark and just say, like, well, when the pot bounces, so it bounces up a little bit. It may look a little bit weird, but let's see. Oh, I also need to export this pot base with the shadow here. So yeah, we'll get it working, but almost there. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break before we implement this. I'll be right back in just 2 minutes. All right, I'm back. I'm off to bed. 23:21 for me. Keep up the good work. All right, thank you for joining, Negate. Very much appreciate that. And hope to see you in the next one. Alrighty. So I need to modify this. Is this gonna work? If I take this clickable control... Oh shoot, you know what I just realized? The highlight outline is going to be on the pot there. So, oops. I'm going to need to redo this shadow, I think. Which means I need to redo the freaking outline as well. Dang it. Let's see if I can carve this back to where it's supposed to be. I'm gonna have to do that whole rigmarole again. Ah, okay. Yeah, I think it's right. Okay. All right, this floor is going to need to have a floor shadow. Oops. Maybe I can just get away with doing a big circle like this. Okay, so we removed some of the highlighting around the shadow there. Okay, well, let's just do this then. What are your opinions on having really long files with thousands of lines of code? I think file length with your lines of code, it's a good heuristic to tell you that maybe you should be breaking things up. But I think a lot of people are tempted to say, oh, because a file is long, that must mean it needs to be broken up. And I don't think that's necessarily the case either. Sometimes you have, even if you're following the single responsibility principle where like one class does one thing, sometimes you just are dealing with a complex thing that just has a lot of functionality, you know what I mean? And so if you've got a 1,000 line script, but it's still very narrowly focused on like accomplishing one thing, then I think that's fine, you know? So like so that's why I say it's a heuristic. It's like, yeah, if you have a very long script, that's an opportunity to look at the script and say, is this thing doing too many things? Like, does it have too many responsibilities? If it does, then yeah, break it up into multiple different classes, right? But for example, in my game, my board inventory component here, this is one of the longest scripts in the game. This is 1,200 lines, right? And you might say, oh wow, that needs to be broken up. But here's the thing. This class is only responsible for, well, maybe I'm gonna lie here, but this class is basically responsible for managing the board state and the cards on the board. So basically anything that has to deal with like whether the cells are unlocked or what cards are where, and also querying the board, that all runs through here. Now maybe this is a bad example because I think I could probably split this up. I could probably split the board querying up separately from the board inventory itself. But that might actually make this a little bit harder to reason about because then, you know, the querying relies on the board state. So if I broke the querying of the board up into a separate class, I would then need to gather up the board state and pass it to the querying object and all that stuff. So, I mean, somebody could look at this and say, yeah, I would split it up this way and this way and this way. But here's the other thing too. It's like, it's not just about, can you split it up? The question is also, would splitting it up make the system easier to reason about and easier to work with? And so I think that's the kind of things. Like, when you should break up a class is if it's doing more than one thing, if it has more responsibility, and breaking out those responsibilities into separate classes would actually make the system easier to work with and reason about. If those two things aren't going to happen by breaking up a long class, then I don't really see a reason to break it up. You know what I mean? Like in my case, you can make an argument like maybe this board inventory component maybe it does have multiple responsibilities, but at the same time, whenever I know that I need to do something with the board state, I know that that's all contained within this class, right? I don't need to hunt through the code and say like, where is this happening? Where is that happening? Everything about placing cards on the board, querying the board, it runs through this class. So anyway, that's my opinion. What's the next playtest? Well, ideally I'd like to do it at the end of this month, but maybe that's not going to happen because I still have a ton of work to do. But you will know for sure. When you click the pot, you can animate the floor shadow expanding and lowering. The alpha value would look cool. Yeah, I could definitely do that. As long as the public methods are well named, using that large class becomes a Google searching for functionality. Yeah, I mean, you can look at my code here. Like, I am not afraid of using verbose names. Like, if I need to, if having a verbose name is a requirement to understanding what the method does, then I'll use the verbose name, you know? And that definitely helps. And you'll also see, like, as I'm writing my code, I'll go and rename this. Like, when I go to an old piece of code and I'm like, wait, what does this method do? And then I say, oh, it does that. I'm going to rename it to more clearly indicate what this method is doing. I do that all the time. I'll rename variables, even if nothing else changes. It's just like, oh, this variable would have a more appropriate name of this, or this method would be more appropriately named that. And just doing that stuff alone can also increase the readability of your code. Just being very descriptive with your variable names and your method names. But anyway, that's my opinions. Everyone has their own opinion on that kind of stuff. So, you know, at the end of the day, like, the most important thing is, like, are you and your team, if you have a team, are you having an easy time working on the code or not? And if you're not having an easy time working on the code, that's your signal, that's your cue that you need to maybe think about how to restructure it to make it easier to reason about and work with and extend and all that good stuff. I'm missing a pixel here, gee dang it. Wait, how am I missing a pixel? Is this not placed correctly? Oh, it's not placed correctly. There we go. That makes sense. I may have changed because I changed the art, so there we go. Okay, anyway. Let's put the floor shadow in place. Why does this look off center? I need to update some of these things. 1 second. Okay, I'm just repositioning everything here. Hopefully this is good. Okay, I think that's right. Anyway, Sprite 2D. Now I got to figure out how to actually place this. Floor. Okay, I think it needs to be placed like that, and then we will add the floor shadow. Now I need to figure out how this one is supposed to be. Okay. Goodness gracious. Let's see what happens. Does Godot have a good debugger? I think it does. Yeah, I mean, it's not like the best in the industry, but it's certainly usable. All right, how does that look? Oh, my head's in the way. How does that look? Are we liking that? Yeah, so that shadow there, maybe we can animate that shadow when we do the click animation. So let's do this. Click. We're going to take the floor shadow here. I do not have enough screen space here. That's okay. Let's copy this value. We'll paste this here. Change that to 0.8. We'll copy this value, paste this value. We just want to match the easing curves. Oh, that's the spoon position. Oops. I did this all wrong. Son of a biscuit. Can I reorder this? I don't have enough space. Okay, anyway. So here... Why is that scale there? Delete that. Okay, this, we're going to copy this value, paste that value there. Okay. So we go front root to here, copy this value, paste that there. Okay, and then position, that's just a 1. Okay, and then the position settles here. So we want to do scale of 1 there. Delete this key. And then we want this value there. Paste that there. Okay. And then... Okay, so we got a little bit of motion on that now. Yes, we do. Awesome. That fade effect as the floor gets larger looks nice. Yeah. I like it. I think it's turned out good. Shadows expand when objects go away. Well, not in this case. Just the alpha. I can't do alpha, no. Alpha is a violation of the art rules of this game. So just for context, the rule for this game is that every single pixel that gets rendered to the screen needs to be one of the 8 colors in the palette. That means that there can't be any gradients, there can't be any alpha transparency, none of that. And that's not like a technical rule, that's just a rule that I adopted for myself. Okay, let's make the shadow expand instead of shrinking. Okay, so we're making the shadow expand now. Let's see if that looks better. Oh, and then there's the output animation that I need to do. So let's do that one as well. Okay, floor shadow. I'm glad I'm spending time on this. Like since the alchemy is like the main mechanic of the game, I definitely want to spend an inordinate amount of time making that whole thing look good. And so if that means like adding those little environmental things that a lot of you were suggesting, like little creatures or whatnot, cockroaches running around, definitely going to do that. I want to make it feel like this part of the game needs to feel super, super polished. And so that means like the sound effects need to feel really crunchy. The animation needs to be satisfying. All that stuff. Okay. Alpha should be lower, and during the animation even lower the further the pot is. At a minimum, I would just decrease the alpha by a flat amount, but yeah, animating the alpha too would be cool, not as noticeable. Yeah, alpha is a no-go for this game. Unfortunately, or fortunately. I think like, the whole point of adopting that is like, it gives me constraints, right? So when I need to do fade effects, I have to think a little bit more creatively about how to do that. And that's how I decided to use like that fade shader. So like when we go into here and the map fades out like that, that could be done with like an alpha transparency, right? Like, oh, put a black, square over the screen and fade it in. But that's not as visually interesting as actually like stepping through each color in the palette all the way down to black. It creates like this very chunky kind of like fade out effect, and that looks really good, right? And so that, I probably would have never done that if I didn't have the constraint of like, I'm only allowed to use colors in the color palette, period. Like every color on the screen is going to be one of 8 colors. And so you get like, you get like thinking outside the box with those kind of constraints, right? Like how do I do a fade effect? How do I do dimming, right? All that cool stuff. Why can't you use alpha? Couldn't you just want quantization? That way the screen will always use the colors that is in the palette. Yeah, I mean, I could make the shadow fade with the color palette, but the shadow is already black, so there's nothing for it to fade to if I stepped through the colors, right? I could make the shadow lighter maybe, but I also think that might look weird because then it would like the colors would flicker, I think that this is probably okay. Like if I just do this. Yeah, I mean, you can notice the shadow. I think that shadow is looking pretty good actually. So it's got a slight animation on it, but I do think it looks nice. Yeah, I think that looks great. Oh, my head was probably in the way. Hold on. Let me slide down in my chair a little bit. Let's see if I can show you the animation more effectively now. This is peak game developer posture right here. About to boot into World of Warcraft. So yeah, I think that looks great. I think that looks good. We might see a witch in a fireplace and a dragon breathing fire flying by, yeah. Is game dev how you pay bills, or do you have a full-time job? I do not have a full-time job. The way that my bills are being paid currently are through the Patreon subscriptions, which are very helpful. YouTube ad revenue, Twitch ad revenue, and the bulk of my income right now is coming from the Udemy courses. So that's why I mentioned those on the ads at the beginning of every stream. It's like, that's the main way I'm making my money right now. I do have some residual sales from Gunforged every so often. So all of those income sources cobbled together are what's paying my bills. And paying my bills is used very loosely here because I, at least until very recently, I was running a deficit. So my savings account was slowly dwindling, but the rate of dwindling is greatly decreased by all the income sources that I have. But I'm still losing money. Like I lose money every month. And so the goal is like, can we get the rate of loss of money to 0? That means I can continue indefinitely. And then of course with Alchemortis, can I replenish a lot of that money that I've spent? So I did have a full-time job previously. I lost that job because it was a startup that ran out of funding, and I decided to take what I had saved and work on Alchemortis. So, yeah, the opportunity cost of making this game is well over 6 figures at this point. Opportunity cost being not just the cost that I've paid to pay my monthly expenses, but the opportunity cost of not having a software engineer salary as well. So you could say, in a sense, that I've lost well over 6 figures developing this game. And, that's just the way it goes. I'm happy to pay that cost. And the goal is, can we get Alchemortis to sell in a way that recuperates all of that opportunity cost and then some, right? And we'll see if it happens. We'll see if it happens. Hello, Snupbill. Welcome back. Good to see you. That's much better when expanding. Yeah. Added sound effects. There are sound effects in the game. I just don't play them during stream. Need a little fire underneath that sprawling out a little as Alchemy finishes. Ooh, that's a good idea. Let's see. I wish I could do a better fire effect. I think I need to sit down and like try to like make a fire effect that's really compelling. Maybe with a shader or something, but I don't think doing the fire effect with my little particles is going that well, so I'm gonna need to figure that out. I'm not going to put this in my to-do list, though. We're just going to put that in the backlog. Redo fire effects. Let's just do like a create fire/card legendary shader that looks more like flame instead of using particles. If you're looking to be super nitpicky, the only thing you could do would be to offset the rotation of the liquid a little, since liquid lags behind a little if you move the container it's in. That might be something that's easier to do if I move the liquid to a shader, because right now it's just a long horizontal texture, and so I don't know if just like rotating the texture would work well, but maybe it would. The animation looks great as is. Yeah, thank you. I think it's looking good. I think it's looking really good. Quickly release Alchemortis. I'll gift it to friends and to myself. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm a software engineer that works in education. It's hard to pass up 200K plus salary, so I understand. Yeah. Yeah. I lost 6 figures just for making this game. Yeah, I mean, that's the opportunity cost, right? It's not, I haven't actually spent 6 figures making this game. But the opportunity cost being like, compared to the money I could have been making as a software engineer, you know. But again, that's not guaranteed either. You know, it could have been like I looked for a software engineering job for 3 months and I couldn't get one anyway, right? I didn't even try. I didn't try to look for jobs after I lost my last one. I just went straight into this. So it's opportunity cost because it's kind of like, it's not guaranteed money. Like it could have been, I could have been unemployed for 6 months and it's like, then the opportunity cost is basically 0 because I wasn't going to be employed anyway, right? But you live with family or alone? I'm curious. I live with my wife. I live with my wife. So I'm a big boy. I've got mortgage and utility bills and all that stuff to pay. So that's why I do those annoying ads at the beginning of every stream, because every dollar that you support me with is genuinely very helpful. But I don't want you guys to feel like you need to financially support either. Obviously, don't do that. Like, you could support me too by just like wishlisting the game, telling your friends about Alchemortis. Again, the goal is not to fund myself by asking for donations, though I really appreciate it. The goal is to fund myself by selling games that people want to play. And so the early support that you guys are giving me financially through the courses and through the Patreon and everything, that's helping me out with the development costs. In an ideal world, what I'd like to do is like shut down the Patreon and all that stuff if Alchemortis makes a lot of money, because then I won't need to ask you all for support while I'm developing games. I'll be able to support myself, right? So that's the goal. That's the ideal state. And we will see how it goes. And pets, yeah. Got the course a few days ago. Enjoying it so far. Thank you, Deep Warnock. Appreciate it. Would you recommend taking computer science classes? I have a degree in IT and I work at IT for university. They have a master's program for CS that I could take at a big discount. But I'm hoping to shift into game development as a career, either solo or studio in the future. Yeah, I mean, I would have recommended CS or some kind of software path previously, but that industry is weird right now because of AI and other factors, I guess. Software engineers, like recent software engineering graduates from college, are having a very, like they have one of the highest employment rates of college grads now, which is like a total inversion of like 5 years ago. So I don't know if I'd recommend it. I mean, it's up to you. Computer science is a good skill to have, but it's also a skill that you can learn from online courses and YouTube and stuff. So it's kind of like that whole industry is kind of like in a weird spot right now. I don't think you need a formal education to do game development or software engineering for that matter. Like I worked at several places when I was a software engineer, and some of the most brilliant engineers that I worked with at those places had degrees in like music performance or like theater, or they didn't have degrees at all. You know, I worked with one guy who was a professional photographer for 30 years, and then he just on a whim switched to software engineering and like was a team lead. So I don't think a college education is necessary for that field. So I'm just mentioning all these things for your consideration. I don't know. I can't recommend for you what you should do, but just putting out the information that I know, and hopefully that helps you make a decision. How you met your wife? Oh, on a dating app, of course. How else are you supposed to do that? Udemy course for Survivor is great. Thank you. That's the biggest thing holding me back. I could just learn everything myself and online for much cheaper, and I don't intend on working for a company where the degree would help. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where the industry has changed a lot in the past couple of years. Like, I don't feel as confident giving advice. Like, if you had asked me 5 years ago, I'd be like, oh yeah, just do like GitHub projects and demonstrate capability and maybe take like a cheaper boot camp or something to learn the skills as quick as possible, and then just start applying for junior positions and just like nail the interviews, and then you'll have a job. But that is, I don't know if that's a good path anymore. Get into industrial automation. It's a good blend of computer science, but also trade-off that needs more people, or trade that needs more people. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like if the game dev thing doesn't work out, which I'm hoping it does, I would love to get into like manufacturing or something in some kind of engineering capacity. I think that would be cool. But I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Which dating app? I will keep that one a secret. I will keep that one a secret. Okay. So add new pot art. All right, well, I'm gonna go get some lunch. I may stream later today, so join the Discord if you want to be notified when I go live. But otherwise, thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. Very much appreciate chatting with you all on this fine Saturday morning. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Again, if you want to support me, there's the Patreon where you can financially support. You can also wishlist the game on Steam, which is here. All that stuff is linked below. Join the Discord, like the video, follow on Twitch. All that stuff is very helpful as well. And let's see. The name of the dating app, Steam, yeah. If solo game dev didn't work out for you, would you instead find a remote position at another indie studio, or do you think the loss of creative freedom would kill some other passion? Yeah, I mean, the reason I like making games is because I can bring my own vision to life. I don't know if I'd be super happy working on games where somebody else is driving the vision of it. But, you know, we'll see. We don't need to think about those things right now. That was GDScript, right? The course is in GDScript, yeah. Sorry, MMM Peaks. I'm just hopping off now, but welcome to the stream, and goodbye for now. I might be on later, so keep an eye on the Discord. All right, bye-bye.